Okay, am I audible, first of all? Uh, it's been a while. I hope I didn't change anything too drastically, but yosh. Uh, does this mean I am audible? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, we'll get started in just a few minutes, just setting setting stuff up and waiting for a few more people to find their way here. Hello! How's it going? It's been a while. Well, since I streamed. We have talked like 5 minutes ago. um, Currently still checking. I should probably, before already open the scenes we're going to use again. Yeah, I'm finally done with my exams, luckily. So just in time for the next semester to start tomorrow. um, but yeah, I haven't been completely ignoring, like I have been working on some stuff for the card game, but I have been less active, to say the least. But yeah, I can show off what I did in just a sec. Just checking if... yeah. First of all, I've made some cards myself, which I'll show off later. And I have some ideas for... Oops. Some ideas for what I want to do next, which we'll get to as well. So let's get started. Godot. Godot. What? Just a sec. Now we got it. Hey, it's Godot. Yeah. Last time we have been working on the deck editor. And I haven't done too much on that since last time. So... nothing much that changed. I'll show off something in just a sec. A lot of it is more in the back end, so it's not really that interesting from a front-end perspective, but... yeah. One thing I changed was before the card artwork was handled via an animation player, like for the frame, like for what we use for the frame and the type and the rarity. Why do you... We have a default rarity, you know. But yeah, I changed that so that now in the code of the card, it instead just treats how do I say it? Basically, in the JSON files we use for the cards, which I can actually show off real quick. in the JSON files we use give me a sec. I just need to tinker around with my setup. I haven't worked with that in a while, as you might have noticed. But yeah, yeah, basically what I did, I changed how the JSON files look in general, cleaned them up a lot, so they are easier to read. But I also made a section for artwork specifically, where the frame of the card, whether it's borderless, and the name of the artwork. So you basically in the code I just search by the basically just search the path for the artwork that's listed in the JSON file, and that's now how we get the artwork for the cards instead of using an animation player and making an animation for every single artwork, which is a lot of work, obviously. I also added credit for who's the artist, so it's easier to credit the artist later on. So yeah, that's what I did as a big change basically while I was gone. Yeah, and before I forget, basically I also changed something because of a particular card we had, which had a name that was basically too long to read. Which I can actually show which card I mean. Let me just find it real quick. Yeah, the Master Emerald. Master Emerald is too long for the card. Like, in the font it just doesn't fit into the card. So I have an optional variable in the JSON called display name, which, if it is set, can change how a card is called, which is useful for more than just abbreviating stuff. Like, if you want, for example, to have different ways of how it's written, because, for example, a certain symbol doesn't exist for the font, you could, for example, do that. Yeah. And I think that's everything I did, except of course making a lot of cards. We have some new cards, which I can show off actually, by running the card editor real quick. We have the Burrowbot, Jaws, the Unidazzle, the Uni, Omega, cause I felt like it. The Master Emerald, cause I felt like it. And Dr. Eggman, cause I felt like it. I still wish I could scale up the artwork, but that will need some work later on, so it's easier to see. But I really like the look of Eggman standing in the shadows, completely in the dark and stuff. So yeah, that's it. I should just close the build. So I have several ideas for now. Something I want to start with is basically giving cards some flavor text and also just having the card credit the artist, basically. So yeah, that's probably what we're going to start with. So first we need to actually read the artist name, which shouldn't be too difficult. In fact, we already have a variable that is basically just the name of the artist, because I was smart when I did this. Apparently, isn't always a thing. Me being smart. But yeah, then I can directly go to the card preview and in the deck editor add a new separator. Like that. And below that add a new label with the artist name. New child node, label, create, artist, align right. And before I make the mistake of adding a font, I'll first save like 5,000 times. Actually, not new. Oh, it didn't crash. That's good. Load, assets, fonts, card text font. And somehow it didn't crash yet. Then we go into the code of the preview. Not that code, that code. And we for the label, first of all we need a new variable for the label, because that's how that works. Unready variable, not carryable. Artist equals box container artist, and then artist dot text equals artist plus string card dot artist to lowercase. I just assume. Yeah. So, in theory, now if we select a card, it should credit the artist. Let's find out. Yeah, that seems correct. Those are made by you. That one's made by me. Yep, seems to work. Not that I would have really been surprised if it didn't, but this is kind of foolproof. But we somehow did it. without destroying the entire... Okay. Then, now that that works, we could add flavor text, but I'm not going to do that right now because it's a bit complicated, I guess. It's not really complicated, it's just I need to work in the JSON a lot and I don't want to work on every single JSON right now. I'm going to do that probably somewhere near the end and figure it out from there. So yeah, that was step 1. Now that we have credited the artist, I want to do a new thing. Basically, something we haven't done yet is alternative artworks. And since I've started working on some, I would like to actually be able to show them off. So that's the basic idea behind this next thing I want to do. Which... how do I do that best? I think, okay, the first step is easy. The first step is making alternative JSONs for the alternative artworks, which have the same ID but with a letter afterwards to separate it from the main artwork. So we are going to start with Sonic for that, I think. Speaking of, I made a poll on GameJolt. I should probably check what the result of that was. So I think I know what the result is. Pretty much the same everyone of my friends also said, so give me a sec. Just need to find it. Actually, I should probably show that off on stream anyway, so you can see what the result is. Yeah. As I expected, the result is borderless, as you can see here. Admittedly, not many votes, but... which, I guess, spoiler, the alternative artworks, which I think I showed most of you already, so... but in case I didn't... yeah, I decided I would try to make alternative artworks for Sonic and Shadow based on that one scene in SA2. Yeah, the cards look awesome. I don't want to praise myself too much, but I'm actually happy how they look. Like, I'm genuinely happy with it. And soon we're going to implement them. Which is pretty much what we're going to do now. First of all, we are making a new JSON file, which I won't show off here, but basically a copy of Sonic's current JSON. Which has the ID 001A as opposed to 001, which is Sonic's current ID. Instead of using your artwork, we're going to use mine. Specifically the borderless variant, I think. Did I actually add it already? I need to check that real quick. Sonic. We did, but I called it borderless. So obviously it's true. So now that we changed the art stuff on the card, now the obvious next step is removing pretty much everything else in the card. Since most of this stuff won't change from Sonic to, like, from one artwork to another, there's no point in actually listing it in this JSON since that's not interesting for us. We already have the data. Since none of this will change. We are going to add this the change to this ID, despite the fact that I never use this, but it's fine. So now we have a JSON for that alternative artwork, which doesn't do much at the moment. Because at the moment we don't read that JSON. So now we need to figure out in Godot, how do we actually read a card with alternative artwork? The obvious answer is we get an ID with an A, which, by the way, since our font for the card ID can't read letters, won't appear on the actual card, which is intended. But the question is, what do we do so the card still knows? I was thinking about the same. Direct. I think the easiest part is the thing we need to think about is how do we get the base card from the card alternative artwork we have. Which, since all of our IDs are currently 3 numbers long, like not numbers, you know what I mean. Since our numbers follow the format of number, we can basically assume that the string of the base ID will always be 3 characters long. So, which I don't think will make 1,000 cards anyway. So, yeah, that I think should work. Might not work for if we have something like custom cards that we can add custom cards, but at that point we anyway need to handle it more complicated. So first we find out what the real ID is, and which is trivial, I think. Real ID equals card equals card ID dot trim probably substring substring. I should probably just type it. Okay. From 0 to 2. Substring. No, the length should be free. Because it's the length, not position. Okay. That's all I wanted to know. So now we have two IDs. One, which is the ID with the alternative artwork, and I need two directories to search in. Huh. How do I do that best? I should probably just have two variables for two different results. Yeah. Let's call it art result. I also need to open two this is getting more and more complicated, but it's fine. Art data equals the thing is, sometimes it can happen that we get the same so I could do a real check, a quick check if real ID dot okay. Does that work? So only if okay, how do I check if the string, those two strings are the same? Just screw this language. So we don't need to save two. And not art. Actually, this just makes it more complicated than it needs to be. The more I think about it. It's easier to just do this and accept that this is weird. What did I call it? Oh. Yeah. Again, there's a chance that art result and result are the same thing, but it's fine. So this should work now. I hope. Okay, sorry. Just had to check something real quick. Yeah, so that works now. Basically, in theory, if I should now ask for the card 001A and turn the camera on so we can actually see stuff. In theory, we should now get... Hey, it worked! It actually worked. We have now an alternate artwork for Sonic. Which at the moment means nothing, because at the moment the only way to actually access that artwork is manually entering the card ID. We are going to fix that in a bit. I'll first set up the alternative artwork for Shadow, which we have. Which would be in turn 33A. But I need to do a new card for that first. And theoretically we can also give the cards alternative names, like the alternative artworks. We are rarely going to use that, but we might. Let me just set up a new card. 33, and therefore 33A. Which again can cut out all of this since it's useless. And Freud. Borderless. Frame set 5, borderless true. And Freud. So now if we If we check, we should get Edgy the Hedgy. Hooray. So that works now. Not that I really doubt it would work. You can absolutely not see his name, but it's fine. We all know who this guy is anyway. So, next. Exactly. Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, now if we have the ID, we can just my plan is later that you can just switch between different artworks for the card in the deck editor by, I don't know, pressing left or right or whatever. We'll figure that one out as we go. Next issue. Something we should have done a while ago is actually update how we save the... You good? You haven't seen it, but Silic just, I don't know, threw his arms in the air because it worked or didn't work, whatever he's working on. I assume it didn't work, considering the answer. So yeah. So it worked. Congratulations. Next. Yeah. Let me think. How do we do this best? Silic suggested, while we talked about this a while ago, to actually update the way we load cards. So we basically load at the beginning of the game a dictionary of all cards, so all cards are basically loaded at all times. Which sounds inefficient at first. But the idea behind it is that it's easier to access the cards. Albert, you good? Yes, but still. Where did I... Yeah, we wanted to do basically a dictionary of all cards, so we can just access that on runtime instead of needing to load the card every time we go into any scene that needs a card. The advantage of that is also that since all cards are loaded at all times, you can, for example, figure out which cards are loaded during a game to figure out what your opponent has. So it's also good for anti-cheat. Yes, now the question is, where do I actually do that? Where do I put the script? So new script or... So new folder. auto load. And in that we make a new script called I think the card library is already taken, but I could use card dictionary. So I think I'm going to do that. I don't know, and technically we don't have a class called card library yet, but we have library card and I don't want confusion. And card dictionary works. I have decided. Fine. Just a sec. I opened it in a new window so you don't see it if brain open the show off the Explorer. That was... I'm tired, okay. Simply because there's some stuff that is kind of supposed to be secret. Secret is secret.